Let's see. Let's wait on the first caller. Call in. Call in right now. It's on you to call. Feel free to call. All right. Waiting on these lines to bring. Let's see what they talking about today, my boys. Let's see what the hell they got going on, chat. Let's see. Are they gonna call? Are they gonna call the line? The line's open, motherfucker. Hit that line, baby boy. Yes, sir. Alright, we got no data. Why do we have no data? Let's see. Let's just make sure everything's copacetic. Make sure everything's copacetic. Oh yeah, we live now, baby boy. We live now, baby boy. Feel free to call in. Hit that line. Hit it. Hit it. All right. Let's see. Where's oh, here we go, baby boy. Let's see. Why? How come we still have no data? We on the right Yep, we on the right Wi-Fi. All right now. Let's see who's gonna hit that line. Let's see what the hell they talking about. I don't think they talking about a motherfucking thing, but we gonna see. Let's see what they talking about. You can call in. You call in with your complaints, your problems, whatever. Feel free to tap in with whatever. Let's see. How come we have no data? I don't like that. I mean, we are streaming, so I don't know why it's no data, but we'll see. Yep, feel free to hit that line to call in. First caller, we waiting on you, baby boy. We waiting on you. I might play little tunes till you hit that line, baby boy. Till you hit that line, baby boy. Why does it say no data? I mean, it is streaming, right? So that's weird as shit. Let's see. Doc. Okay. 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 Good. We good to go. Alrighty. Let's play a little tune, shall we? While we waiting on you, caller. We're waiting on you, caller. So hit that line, baby boy. Call in. Let's see. Waiting on you, caller. Waiting on you. Skip the left. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Tap that line, motherfucker.
Alright.
You know, we gonna play a little something till they hit that line. Let's see.
Here we go. Baby, bye. Let's see. How come we still have no data? We on the right, yep, we on the right Wi-Fi. Alright.
For more on Secretary of War Hegseth and the questions about those Caribbean boat strikes, let's bring in Congresswoman Marionette Miller Meeks. She's a member of the House Veterans Affairs Committee. So it sounds like the President and the Secretary of War are preparing to release the video of the two strikes on that alleged drug boat. Are you satisfied, or will you be satisfied if that video is released?
Well, I certainly think the video helps with transparency, but I think we need to remember, number one, that we had an administration, 4 years of a Biden administration, that did nothing as both Venezuelan gangs and gangs throughout Mexico came across our border, untold number of drugs, and so they
Boom! You see that shit?
Other gangs that were bringing drugs to the United States, you know, record numbers
Fuck!
of young people. And so, yes, designating them as terrorists. This was a military strike. We've seen this before. We saw this under the Obama administration, where there were drone strikes that were carried out on individuals. And I don't remember this level of vitriol coming from the traditional media about these. I recall even under the Biden administration, after the disastrous, incompetent withdrawal from Afghanistan that cost 13 young service members their lives.
Rest in peace to them.
The Biden administration launched a drone strike on a convoy that they thought was Taliban, and it turned out to be a UN convoy, killing individuals and children. And I don't recall the level of concern over that strike. So these are narco-terrorists. There is actual intelligence, multiple agencies, multiple intelligence agencies that determined that this was a threat, and a strike was performed. So I think given the information that we had, that it was verifiable, and I think the appropriate action was taken.
There's a headline in Axios yesterday I wanted to read for you. It reads, Democrats on the House Armed Services Committee are pressing Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth to release video of U.S. military strikes on an alleged Venezuelan drug boat that have inflamed tensions on Capitol Hill. Do you think those tensions are, artificial in some respects, or
artificial.
are Democrats really that hot about this issue?
Them cockfuckers ain't hot about
again,
nothing.
We heard nothing when record numbers of people were coming across our southern border, record amounts of drugs. You had 15% of the illegal drugs in the United States apprehended at ports of entry, but that's 85% that were not apprehended.
Yeah, we gotta turn this down just a little bit.
Numerous gang members of every type of gang in Mexico and in South
Turn
America.
that up a little bit.
107,000 Americans.
Making sure you hear me, chat.
18 and 45 died of
Fuck!
The cartels.
Yeah, call in if you're a fucking libtard and you think you're on some shit.
I was down at the southern border.
Come enlighten me. If you're some fucking smart libtard, call the line. Tell me how stupid I am. Because I'm not with your fucking homosexual agenda.
About what happened. I don't recall them calling out the Biden administration for the disastrous, incompetent withdrawal from Afghanistan. The fact that we can't conduct over the horizon counterterrorism, so we had no eyes on Iran, China, or Russia, and the fact that they took out a UN convoy. I was concerned in 2012 and 2014 with Obama, and I recall talking to a newspaper in my district about Obama carrying out drone strikes, killing an American citizen with no actionable intelligence, no proof that this person was a terrorist.
I see you.
That, and
I'm
then
seeing through your phone right now.
6 members of
You don't think I can
Congress,
see you?
Asking,
You just gonna
U.S.
stare?
service member, military members,
You ain't gonna
to
call
not obey,
in?
illegal orders without defining if there was an illegal order.
Fucked up, baby
Creating
boy.
dissent, sowing doubt among our military. So I find it just a little bit more anti-Trump than I do true concern
Got
over
me
what's
fucked up.
Let's talk very quickly about affordability and prices. We have a graphic that shows price increases under the second Trump administration as compared with the Biden administration. Under Biden, overall inflation went up 4.3% in the first year, in his first year in office, 1.6% for Trump. The numbers are significantly higher for the
Significantly
Biden
higher than Biden because he's a fucking
especially when you
cocksucker.
look at
Call in
new
if
and
you
used
disagree.
cars, they were up almost 14% under Biden. They're actually down about half a percentage point under President Trump. I know that health care is a big issue for you as a physician. Do you think that Republicans are going to be able to come up with a way to either eliminate Obamacare or replace it with something that actually works and saves Americans money?
Well, first and foremost, we want healthcare costs to come down for everyone. We want to lower healthcare costs for every individual. And I think most of us who were working through what was happening when the Unaffordable Care Act was passed back in 2010, we're very concerned about the level of consolidation and the fact that the promises made by President Obama were not going to materialize. And remember, it was President Obama who said, if you like your healthcare plan, you can keep it. Millions lost their health insurance. If you like your doctor, you can keep them. I had to have patients leave me and go to another provider. It was going to bend the cost curve down. Very importantly,
was it?
We had to pass Obamacare without even reading
Was it?
Because it was going to bend the cost curve down, and you were going to save $2,500 per year on your premiums. That has never materialized. Costs have continued to skyrocket. Subsidies are going directly to very profitable insurance companies. And I think what's important for people to realize, we know that in the Biden administration that we had cumulative inflation over 20%. In 2022 alone, it went up to 9%. Those are government figures. We're still trying to work out through that, work out from under that, and lower prices for everyone. That includes food, fuel, electricity, and especially it includes healthcare costs. And we have done things on that. Our reform for pharmacy benefit managers, or PBM reform, is going to help bring prescription drug costs down. The work we are doing on lower cost, greater transparency, the work we have done on direct primary care and the working families tax cut, and also allowing for HSAs, or health savings or health reimbursement accounts for those.
All right, joining us now is Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth. Pete, good morning to you, first of all.
Good morning.
Good morning. So the president
Great to see you all.
Good to see you too. Thanks for your service. The president put that video of him eviscerating, blowing up that boat coming across with all of the drugs on board, and the president said on social, let them on Truth Social, let them be on notice to anybody bringing drugs to the U.S. Beware. So the president is sending a message to other cartels, right?
A very clear one. I can tell you that was definitely not artificial intelligence. I watched it live.
Wasn't AI,
I knew
baby
exactly
boy.
who was in that boat. We knew exactly what they were doing, and we knew exactly who they represented. And that was Tren de Aragua, a narco-terrorist organization designated by the United States, trying to poison our country with illicit drugs. Last year,
trying to poison our fucking country.
100,000 Americans
drugs.
died from drug-related
drugs.
from drugs, from the use of drugs, many of which poured in from Central and South America through our southwest border. Now, we're sealing the border, but President Trump is willing to go on offense in ways that others have not. And to send that clear signal to Tren de Aragua, Cartel del Sols, and others emanating from Venezuela.
910-364-9365.
We've got incredible assets, and they are gathering in the region. And so you want to try to traffic drugs, it's a new day. It's a different day. And so those 11 drug traffickers are no longer with us, sending a very clear signal that this is an activity the United States is not going to tolerate in our hemisphere.
Where they at,
Mr. Secretary, you made it very clear when we had the opportunity to visit the southern border at Fort Bliss. The Southern Command knew exactly where these folks were and that you guys were going to take them out. I guess the question is, for this operation specifically, was this a drone attack or was this hellfire from a helo?
Was it a fucking hellfire?
I can't disclose precisely how this went down. I can tell you it was precision. It was very well understood exactly how assets would be used in order to achieve the effect. So that's classified how it was done, but you can see publicly a lot of the assets that we have in the region, which to include And our unit, which holds 2,200 combat infantry Marines, and has plenty of its own organic assets. So we've got assets in the air, assets in the water, assets on ships, because this is a deadly serious mission for us.
Deadly serious,
it won't stop with just this strike. Anyone else trafficking in those waters who we know is a designated narco-terrorist will face the same fate. And it's important for the American people to protect our homeland and protect our hemisphere.
So their leader, Maduro, who we put a $50 million bounty on his head, has called out to China for help in this, and China's condemning
Don't
US,
knock shit over.
And saying I shouldn't use the word condemn. They're warning us we should look out for the different countries' integrity. Are you worried about China, their relationship with Venezuela, and how will that affect our policy?
Big production.
No, the only person that should be worried is Nicolas Maduro, who's running a...
Don't be scared. Call in 910-364-9366.
Not actually elected and indicted for $50 million by the United States. And we know he's involved in the types of drug running that has affected the American people directly. So China and other countries are going to say certain things, and that's their prerogative. What we have there in the Caribbean is a clear demonstration.
How do I look?
President Trump has shown, whether it's the Southwest border, whether it's the Houthis in freedom of navigation, whether it's Midnight Hammer in Iran, that the precise application of American power can have incredible impacts and reshape dynamics around the world and in the region. So Nicolas Maduro, as he considers whether or not he wants to continue to be a narco trafficker, has some decisions to make, and that's all I'll say about that.
Is regime change our goal there?
Well, that's a
I'm not going to fucking tell you, asshole.
Indictment. We understand the $50 million. Anyone would prefer that he would just give himself up. But that's a presidential level decision, and we're prepared with every asset that the American military has.
It's incredible that y'all were able to track that boat, know that there were 11 narco-terrorists on board, and be able to take it out to prevent all those drugs from making it into the United States and killing so many teenagers, so many 20-year-olds, whoever's doing drugs in the U.S. So thank you for that. I don't know how you did it. I'm sure you have intel that you can't talk about. Let's talk about China this morning, because while we were sleeping, China was celebrating. They're having this parade in Tiananmen Square featuring a display of advanced equipment, and they invited Putin and they invited Kim Jong-un in attendance. So what message are they trying to send, and what is the administration's response?
Well, unfortunately, the weakness of the previous administration has driven Russia and China closer together. That was a terrible development of a lack of American leadership and a lack of American strength. And you saw it around the world, and it manifests in what we saw on TV last night. But that's why President Trump has charged us at the Defense Department to be prepared, to rebuild our military in historic ways, to restore the warrior ethos and reestablish deterrence. Not because we seek conflict, we do not, and we've been clear about that with China or Russia or others, but because by being prepared, you prevent it. You ensure that the American people and the homeland are safe, and demonstrations of parades are fine, but they don't hopefully manifest in actually military conflict. So we know what they believe and what they're about. We also know how strong we are and the military advantages we have. They know that also. Our job is to maintain those military advantages in space, in the skies, in the sea, under the sea, and with long-range fires. All the capabilities we have, Golden Dome, which is something China knows they can't replicate, and we will inside this administration. So we're going to maintain the strategic advantage. President Trump has a great relationship with President Xi, and we'll leverage that in hoping to find ways that we can work together. Otherwise, we'll always be prepared.
So, Mr. Secretary, part of the president's philosophy is peace through strength. He wants to be able to have negotiations. He doesn't want to start any new wars. He wants to end a lot of wars. But one thing he does want to do is have the perception and the philosophy of the military to get back to the original origin. And one way he wants to do that with changing the name from Defense to Department of War. What is the timeline on that?
I've said stand by on it, and that's what I'll say again, because that's ultimately the president's call. But I'll say this, we won World War I and we won World War II, not with the Department of Defense, but with a War Department, with the Department of War. As the president has said, we're not just defense, we're offense. We're reestablishing at the department the warrior ethos. We want warriors, folks that understand how to exact lethality on the enemy. We don't want endless contingencies and just playing defense. We think words and names and titles matter. So we're working with the White House and the president on it. Stand by, but we might have some new signage here, right over here, eventually.
Stand the fuck by, chat.
And we'll see if you have to go to King.
I don't know what happened with the chat. I can't even see it.
That's going to make a decision from the White House, I'm sure.
I'm sorry.
All right, so let's talk about the National Guard. If there's going to be a similar display of federal muscle in Chicago as in D.C., the National Guard will play a role. But yesterday there was a decision that came down by a judge in San Francisco, Breyer, I think it's brother of the Supreme Court Justice, who said the president should not have deployed troops into Los Angeles. I assume that means the National Guard, because you also put Marines in there. They said you can't do investigations, you can't aid the ICE or police officers. Really limited anything National Guard can do. How will that affect what happens in Chicago if the president decides to put National Guard in there?
Well, Brian, that'll be appealed. It already has been appealed in California because it's an incorrect decision. Ultimately, the president had every authority. The National Guard was working completely within those confines, supporting law enforcement, protecting federal buildings and federal agents. That's what we said we were going to do from the beginning, and that's what we did. So everything we did in Los Angeles was lawful. And by the way, Gavin Newsom wasn't willing to do what was needed to prevent a Summer of Love 2.0. And so we got in there, secured the city alongside federal law enforcement. We supported them. That'll be appealed, that'll be overturned. And what you see in Washington is the right kind of collaboration with state, local, city law enforcement. You've seen a city reborn, safe and beautiful. It's a template for what that cooperation could look like. The National Guardsmen, I talked to some of them yesterday at the street. They were a little surprised when I stopped my convoy and the Secretary of Defense got out and these National Guard soldiers from West Virginia were on patrol. But they were proud of what they were doing. They were excited to be in their nation's capital and securing it. We've seen crime rates plummet in the city. So whether it's Chicago or Baltimore or New Orleans, wherever it is, we'll be proud to partner with law enforcement that'll partner with us. But as the president has said, he wants governors to invite us in. And unfortunately, you've got some governors that aren't willing to do that in Illinois and Maryland. So that's the president's call. We'll see what happens next. But we're proud of the missions we've done so far. It's part of protecting American citizens, just like our southwest border. The invasion is over. The lawlessness and the chaos is over. We will work with our federal partners appropriately to help secure the American people.
And Mr. Secretary, Trump said we're going in. So he said that yesterday. So I'm wondering what the timeline might be when he's going into Chicago. And then what's your response to Governor Pritzker? He said that the president is begging me to call him. He said it's been a really difficult 10 days. Lawrence was saying, I've been covering this for years. It's been more than 10 days. And I refuse to play a reality game with Donald Trump again.
It's been a tough 10 days for the governor. What about the people that live in Chicago? What about the folks that live with unending violence right in their backyard with an incompetent government and mayor and governor who are unwilling to provide this basic security? I don't feel bad for Governor Pritzker. He should be welcoming support. He should be welcoming outside efforts to come alongside him, just as, frankly, the mayor of Washington mostly has. So he's playing a shell game. It's a charade. He knows that his city's out of control. It's the president's decision when on Chicago and what the scale looks like. But the folks in Chicago, folks in Illinois, deserve to live peacefully like everywhere else. Unfortunately, they have dysfunctional leaders.
And Mr. Secretary, you know about this job too, because you used to be in the National Guard. You know, all these people talking about what the National Guard can do. You used to command a unit with the National Guard. You took fire from protesters, so you know what they can do.
I held a riot shield in Lafayette Square in 2020 during those riots. I've been a part of walking blocks and presence patrols. I know exactly what they can do. I know exactly what they can't do. We made sure that they're able to protect themselves by carrying weapons in Washington, D.C., which is not controversial. It's common sense. I always wanted that ability when I wasn't able to be armed. So it is pretty unique. Myself, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs, also has served in the National Guard. So I understand intimately what these units are capable of, the types of units you would want, how long you'd want them there, the types of missions, how they can work with law enforcement. And so we're happy to support in every way the president's belief that we should be helping to secure American cities where Americans deserve to live safely.
This is probably the last time we're going to have the chance to say this, but thank you, Mr. Secretary of Defense.
Right.
We'll introduce you maybe some different ways shortly.
Last time.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling.
Interesting.
Somalia is taking over Minneapolis. It has for a while, and it's so much worse than any of you thought. Everyone is like, wow, Somalia taking over Minneapolis. They're like doing frauds and schemes because we imported 80,000 pirates, and they're, pillaging our nation.
Fuck! That's a lot of people, Chad.
R-word capital of the America.
Retard capital.
Both R-words that I can't say in YouTube videos that are getting all my videos monetized. Both R-words that you're thinking of are accurate.
Ooh,
both the R-words. So they literally got Ilhan Omar to respond. Tyler Oliveira actually went to Minneapolis to see what this is all about. We have a lot to look at today, and it's truly diabolical.
Now investigators are tracking the web of fraud to other Minnesota Democrats, such as Congresswoman Ilhan Omar. Many of the suspects linked to the scheme live in her district, including a restaurant owner who hosted events for her.
No shit.
He's been convicted of stealing $12 million in COVID funds.
Ah, let me get that million.
It looks like the bitch is getting removed from Congress. This
fuck
is terrible.
Omar right in the goddamn mouth.
Flabbergasted. She actually went on the news to respond to all this, which is pretty incredible. Because it turns out even Israel wasn't involved in this scam, and she tried so hard to blame it on the Jews, but unfortunately she couldn't get away with that. It was truly a rough day for her when you can't blame the Jews for Somalians stealing billions. But you know what she did say? She said that the actual victims of these scams are the Somalians. You heard that here first, folks. She says that the Somalians are the victims of scams that the Somalians are doing. It is truly a diabolical day. So first, I have to share the clip of her saying that Somalians are the victims. It's truly diabolical. Also, the two R words, because some people in my chat didn't get it, are rapists and retards. All right, and that is what's going on in Minnesota right now. It's an influx of those guys. It's worth getting demonetized. All right.
Of the 87 people charged, all but 8 are of Somali descent. And
so 91% of the scammers in the state are Somalian. All right, get ready.
That has added to the spotlight being put specifically on your community. Why do you think this fraud was allowed to get so widespread?
Get ready.
I want to say, this also has an impact on Somalis.
That's right, baby. Somalis scammed our country for $8 billion, allegedly. Biggest victim? The Somalis. That's it, baby. Afghan terrorist murders a National Guard in Washington, D.C. Biggest victim? The Afghan community. They fucking killed 3,000 people in New York on 9/11. The real victims? Muslims and Zohran Mamdani's aunt specifically. They do this every time. How on earth have they not realized to update their playbook? Like, what are we doing?
Because we are also taxpayers in Minnesota.
Not really. Not really. I looked at the numbers, man. The average Somali pays $700 in taxes a year. 42% of Somalis are on welfare. 88% are on government funding. 88%. 88%, man. Oh my God. Oh my Lord, bro. Fucking towel head over here really got to tell you some facts. Get out of here. Every single individual Somali is a $70,000 net drain on society. Statistics are racist, all right? Like, oh my God, get out of here.
We also could have benefited from the program.
You literally scammed it. You're like, well, we're actually the victim.
And the money that was stolen. And so it's been really frustrating for people to not acknowledge the fact that we're also, as Minnesotans, as taxpayers.
We're barely taxpayers.
Really upset and angry about the fraud that has occurred.
Yeah, so the victims of the fraud that is committed by Somalians is actually Somalians, because Somalians are scamming each other. Wow. You literally brought clan warfare from fucking Timbuktu shithole into America, and now you're blaming America for not, I don't know, what is even America supposed to do? Look at me. I have your tax dollars now. That's fucking crazy, man. That's diabolical. Bro, so it gets even worse. So then they ask her, hey, bitch, is it true that they're funding terrorist organizations with these tax dollars?
House Republicans and the Treasury Secretary just now talked about a link to terrorism, a possible link. He said they're just now beginning to look into it. How confident are you that that's a false claim?
I'm pretty confident at the moment because there are people who have been prosecuted and who have been sentenced. If there was a linkage in that the money that they have stolen going to terrorism, then that is a failure of the FBI and our...
it's the FBI's fault that her entire community is funding terrorists in Somalia.
Court system in not figuring that out and basically charging them with these charges. And so I do know that for many years, this sort of like alarm that there is money being transferred through the airport in bags and going to terrorism that accusation has always existed. There's never been here and there in those accusations.
It's never been here and there in those accusations. Oopsie poopsie, billions of dollars of fraud. Thank you. Very specific, lady. Anyway, it gets even better. This interview was like an actual nightmare. All right, so basically, then the claim is, hey, lady, what do you think about Somalians actually trying to assimilate into American culture? Her response is diabolical.
I want to ask you about something else that the architect of the president's immigration policy, Stephen Miller, said. On Thanksgiving Day, he posted, "No magic transformation occurs when failed states cross borders. At scale, migrants and their descendants recreate the conditions and terrors of their broken homelands." What do you make of this argument of failure to assimilate and sort of ruining America? How do you understand this?
I mean, when I think about Stephen Miller and his white supremacist rhetoric...
His white supremacist rhetoric? Bro's Jewish. He's not a white supremacist. I think all of his white supremacist rhetoric. Bro's Jewish.
It reminds me of the way the Nazis discouraged Jewish people in Germany.
More Jewish Nazis. Hey, do you think that Somalians should try to, assimilate into American culture? That reminds me of Nazis, white supremacist rhetoric.
And, as we know...
She has this towel wrapped on her head so hard. She doesn't want any of her 67 IQ points to escape.
There have been many immigrants who have tried to come to the United States who've turned back, one of them being Jewish immigrants. We know the way that people were described who were coming from Ireland, Irish immigrants. We know the way in which people were described back then when they were Italian immigrants.
Good point. Now, look at Italians in America. They are contributing to American culture by a large amount. Look at Irish in America. They're contributing. That are fucking rape holes, all right? That are scamming people for billions. All right, look at Jewish communities. Jews pay, on average, the most taxes of any ethnic group in the entire country, all right? As an example. So the Jews, the Irish, and the Italians all contributed and assimilated into Western civilization. The Somalians turned Minnesota into a shithole. All right, dude? So what are we doing?
And to me, we're yes, of course, ethnically Somali. We are in this country as Americans. Yeah. We are citizens. We are productive part
people
of this nation, and we will continue to be.
It's supremacist. All right, dude, this guy's amazing. So, and then Ilhan Omar blames someone that, honestly, I've never heard of. I wanted to just show you this clip because I wanted people in my chat to tell me if you've ever heard of who she's about to blame.
The Secretary of Egg to...
The Secretary of Egg. Now, I'm not familiar with this position. I just might not be well-read enough.
The Secretary of Egg.
I'm waiting to hear who the Secretary of Egg actually is. In fact, this is what the White House asked. Yes, Ilhan Omar, who is the Secretary of Egg of whom you speak? Which is a good question, honestly. I'm not familiar with the Secretary of Egg. I'm sure that they contribute immensely to Western civilization. This is Ilhan Omar also on one of her live streams from less than a month ago, threatening people for collaborating with Trump.
As much as Trump and his cronies want to act like we have no power to respond, the truth is we are more powerful than we think we are. And I want to underscore the importance of using every single leverage that we have at our arsenal, because we do have a authoritarian regime